Hey guys, in this video I'll be using Process Hacker to analyze this Keylogger malware that I've downloaded from Malware Bazaar. So before we start, we have opened our Process Hacker as admin and then and then we will execute our malware. So let's open this up. And based upon this analysis video, I'll be talking about two things, which are the threats of this malware and then the network section, where it's trying to communicate. As you can see, this malware has been executed. Turns out it comes as a name here, regsvcs.exe. This executable file sort of look very legitimate as Microsoft .NET Services installation utility. So let's start with our threat sections. Starting off with our threat section, we observe that multiple threats initiate by this process, with each exhibiting distinct behaviors that are typical in dynamic malware infections. Notably, threats starting from clr.dll and nt.dll here indicate advanced operation that could involve loading custom modules dynamically and managing them to perform various unauthorized actions. Moreover, it's like the several threads that start with the function install custom module here. This suggests that the malware is capable of installing new modules during runtime. These modules could potentially carry out a range of malicious activities, from data interception to executing further payload. We also see the threat associated with, I think the other one, which is can unload now internal, which indicate that the malware dynamically unload module, potentially to reduce its footprint and evade detection by standard security tools that monitor for persistence changes. These threats suggest that the malware is not only actively managing its execution, but is also designed to operate under the radar. By dynamically loading and unloading its component, it can potentially adapt to its environment, responding to detection attempts or optimizing its operation based on the system states. Next, moving on to the network activity, I can see that this executable malware is establishing network connection to several external IP addresses. So these connections are essential for understanding the potential actions of the malware, particularly concerning data exploitation or command and control communication. The process has made connections on various ports, notably port 443, which is standard for secure web traffic, and port 80, commonly used for HTTP. This might initially appear um, interesting, but the usage of this port could be a tactic to blend malicious traffic with normal internet usage, making detection more challenging. The destination IP address 193.122 here and this one are crucial. These could potentially be servers controlled by attackers, used either for retrieving commands from a command and control center or for sending out stolen data. The connection status vary, with one showing close and wait and another like also showing established. Currently it's showing established now. It means that an active communication channel is currently open. Um, Furthermore, the active and recently closed connection suggests that could be in the process of sending out collected data or receiving further malicious instruction. So the use of standard web ports and established connection to remote servers strongly point to this process being part of a managed malware operation, potentially receiving updates or comments from an attacker. So from what I see in the Whois lookup result about this executable keylogger malware is connecting, um, I can see that this action here, this IP is part of uh, a range managed by the RIPE Network Coordination Center. So this registry indicated these addresses might have been assigned to users in a specific region handled by RIPE. So there's a note indicating that the address range is used is more broadly within RIPE region, suggesting that tracking the specific usage might be challenging due to the broad allocation of these addresses. Secondly, with this one, it falls under Cloudflare management. I think that the entry under Cloudflare also include a reference to potential abuse, which means Cloudflare is aware that their service could be misused and has provisions for reporting such abuses. And the last one, where it goes to Oracle, it's important to note when this IP was last updated and the original registration date, which might give a clue about the tenure of its use or recent change that could be associated with our malicious activity. Overall, I want to summarize these observations and findings from using Process Hacker to investigate the suspicious process which we have identified as a potential keylogger on our system network. So, key observation, I would initially spotted that this file our process using Process Hacker seems out of place due to its high resource and usage and unusual network activity. Um, when we look at threat analysis, detail from the threat reveal multiple instances where the process was executing operations not typically associated with its legitimate namesake. Notably, there were threats involved in installing custom modules and dynamically loading and unloading DLLs, which are common tactics used by malware to execute malicious activities discreetly. Coming to the network connection, we found Process Hacker helped us identify that this process was communicating over standard of HTTP and HTTPS ports to several IP addresses, some of which were linked back to known data centers and anonymizing services. This suggests possible data exfiltrations, activities, and communication with a command and control server. Um, when we try to use that whois lookups from Process Hacker, these IPs indicate that they were registered to cloud service provider, which could be leveraged by attackers to obtain the destination of stolen data or the location of their infrastructure. Overall, this Process Hacker has been invaluable in providing real-time insights into our system-level behavior of that process. It allows us to monitor active processes, view which modules were loaded by the malware, and inspect network connection in detail. However, the analysis also highlighted the tool's limitations in decrypting the content of network transmissions or fully understanding the payload of dynamically loaded module without additional forensic tools. And I believe to suggest further investigation, we might need to integrate more advanced network monitoring tool and also implementing like sandbox techniques to analyze the behavior of suspicious files in a controlled environment.